Hi everyone, I am Lucrezia from XNatura. Actually, some of you met me already when I was with 3B. Today I'm going to present what our new division looks like. So I'm going to share my screen. You are seeing the right one? Yes. Okay, so you're seeing my right screen, right, Paige? Okay, cool.
That's a yes.
So we changed from 3B to XNatura to, let's say, put some attention into our natural intelligence platform and division. XNatura is the in-house natural intelligence division of 3B. It is focused not just on biodiversity as before, but on environmental risk and impacts in general. We cooperate with companies, municipalities, and natural parks, and everything that we do based on remote sensing, on-field sensors, on-field surveys, and lab analysis, and so on, are all combined into one platform that is the one that I'm going to show you later on today. So we collaborate with different kind of universities and partner, one of which is ESA, which is the European Space Agency. And we provide a technical solution for the environmental assessment, monitoring, regeneration plan, and also, of course, dissemination and engagement. So basically, we started to be focused on biodiversity and biodiversity loss since it is one of the most critical challenge for businesses. I just have some data here. I just want to go through quickly, but more than 50% of the global GDP depends on ecosystem services. You probably already know that. The value generation dependent on nature is 44 trillion. So this is just why in terms of business, we should taking care about biodiversity, but we know that there's a lot much that we need to focus on and not just on businesses. So why nature and biodiversity for companies? So basically, yeah, there is a theme of compliance with the emerging regulations like CSRD, TNFD, and so on. In Europe, with the omnibus package, we're going to see a little bit of difference respect to 1 year ago, and we are curious about that. But since it's not just the only thing that we want to underline, the compliance, I mean, I just wanted to analyze the fact that biodiversity, nature, let's say sustainability in general, is also very important for stakeholders and customers, but also to mitigate the risks. And I'd love to say every time that every time that there's a risk, there is also opportunities. So we are here also to match the risk and opportunity phase. What we provide is, of course, high quality and transparent data that you can, of course, share, and also a scalable solution. Why scalable? Because first of all, what we could do, what the solution provides is an entire company and supply chain analysis. This is what we call the prioritization phase. And we're able to understand, of course, the company biodiversity footprint by analyzing the ecological sensitivity, biodiversity status, nature risk, which is the thing that we are focusing on right now with this division, and impact and dependencies, and then, of course, to set the target and have a plan. All the things that we do in this space is also, let's say, we could dive deep into just one site with site-specific analysis, for example, with sensors, which are bioacoustic sensors for pollinators, for birds, or camera traps, the biomonitoring of the hives, lab analysis, and so on. And what we normally do is to set a target together with the company, the municipality, or the parks, and so on, and to help the player to meet the target that they want to reach. So everything that I was telling you is all combined into the platform, which is called, of course, XNatura platform. And what I wanted to show you today, it's a demo session. That's why I'm going to go very quickly. I was very quickly on that part, but I want to make you see what a demo looks like. So today we're gonna have demo on a carbon mine. So you are still seeing the screen of the demo, right? Okay, cool, thank you. So this is what it looks like. Today we're gonna create a new site together. Let's pretend we want to analyze the carbon mine, and we put the description, so open pit carbon mine, and I will put a very famous one, which is also not a carbon mine anymore, but it's very interesting to see it. We create the site, and what I'm doing is basically what you would do if you had to analyze just one site, and you have all the coordinates to understand where is the site that you want to monitor, of course. In this case, I put just a simple, let's say, address, so it's not precise, but I can zoom out, and it is quickly recognizable that here we have our mine. So I zoom in, and I put new site and control. Sorry again. So I zoom in here. There we go. And I was in the wrong part, sorry, but it's the same. So I scroll here, I see the mine. And then what I would normally do is, of course, having the KML of the area, I should just input it, and it would be precise, the precise perimeter of the area. In this case, what I'm gonna do is to draw the shape very quickly of the site that we want to monitor. I do it very, very quickly and roughly, just to make you see how we do it. The white part is the control area, so the area that we use as a benchmark to understand what is going on around the site that we're monitoring. And I put a bigger control area in order to have all the area around the site, which is very big. I name this version 1, for example, and I save it. So now I have my site, it is generated. And normally what I would do is to create each layer that I have here. I could put a land cover field, and I generate it. Today, since we don't have that much time, I'm gonna just press it and make you see what normally looks like. You could generate the land cover, for example, for 2 years ago, and put the biodiversity, which is our app to observe plants on field, scan, take a picture, and then the apps reveals which kind of species the plant is. I put save, but you see here it takes up to 5 minutes. So since I prepared another one to be quickly for this demo, I just wanted to make you see that everything here is all generated. We have the land cover. If you don't know what the land cover is, but I'm sure you do, you have the legend right here. You can see the different land cover for the area here, and you can generate each layer for each things that you have here. So for example, the protected areas, you can see the protected areas around. You can press them and see where the area is. In this case, it's very small, it's there. And everything that you see here, so every KPI that we have in this part here, which is referring to the map, we also have it down, and I'm gonna scroll a little bit to make you see that we have land use for, of course, analyzing the natural coverage, natural habitats, the impervious soil ration, and so on. We have the status of urbanization. In this case, of course, it's a mine. It's also closed, so we don't have that much urbanization around. Population density. We have a section for microclimate, which is very useful, for example, for future projections based on the IPCC scenario. The same for rainfall and temperature. And everything that you see is also, it has a benchmark with what we see in the control area. So in this case, it is very interesting. The mining, so what we are analyzing, as 73 points out of 100, instead the control area just 20. This is because it's a closed mine, as I told you at the beginning, and they also have been developing regeneration projects inside the mine. So that is why it's super high. Normally, what we do is to set the target with the natural parks, for example, and we decide which kind of regeneration activity helps the player meet the target. So this is for the land use, for example. We have, of course, loads of protected areas. In Europe, we are full of them all over. They are very small, very big, and it is very important to see how much close we are to the protected areas. The species at risk, pollinator status. I'm going quickly because we don't have that much time to focus on each KPIs, but just to make you see which kind of KPI we monitor. What I wanted to show you is the fact that if you integrate sensor on the field, and I am right now in a proper site, it is an agriculture site, you would see the spectrum, which is the bioacoustics sensor that we use to monitor pollinators. And you can scroll down, go at the end of the platform. Sorry for the headache. Okay, so here you have the monitor pollinators. We don't recognize the exact species of pollinators, but we recognize a cluster. So we know that for this frequency, basically the pollinator, it's similar to this one. And you could also see it like all year round, to see based on the precipitation, on the temperature, how many pollinators we have. Another thing that I wanted to show you is the, let's say, overview approach for a company, which is Mundis, an infrastructure company. So how the platform looks like for the companies that decide to monitor more than one site. So they don't have specific on-field analysis, they just have the overview. We have the number of sites, the number of hectares, the overview of impact, dependencies, and risk. So for example, 5 sites out of 17 are have a direct impact on biodiversity, and so on. And what is really important is also this table here, which gives you the idea of where to start to focus on which site based on the indicator that you want to choose. So as for the demo, we are almost over. I go back here. What I was telling you before, so the demo that we were seeing is the Mundis one. They are, we are conducted with them a study for hydrological risk, especially flood and landslide, and as well as protected areas, endangered species, and MSA, land use, based on land use. So we collected all the information and our approach into this white paper. If you want to scan the QR code, you can download it. And just a brief point on how we implement all the things that I was showing you. Of course, we have the input with the KML file. We also need the GPS in order to localize all the sites in the case of a prioritization, the company prioritization assets. And everything that you see on the platform is based on database, but it's also based on survey analysis that we conduct with the player in order to have specific data for the specific site. Yeah, I still have 1 minute, so just to make you understand what I'm saying. If I scroll here, for example, we have the impacts and dependencies based on NCORE. If in this case, we know that it's a mine, we know that it's closed, we know that the area of fresh use, it's not going to be high, but it's going to be lower. We can change it here and put the exact value that we analyzed it previously, instead of being based just on the database. So everything that you see here, it's customizable to the exact, let's say, case study. So we also integrated the financial risk and opportunities. We don't have it for this one since it's a demo, of course, but we implement it to be, let's say, compliant with the TNFD. And I was not focusing on this one, which is, let's say, the highlights table to monitor the status and impact based on the ESRS, so divided into water, pollution, and so on. And I don't have that much time. I see you, Paige. But yeah, thank you for your attention, and I hope I can I hope I can answer your questions, of course.
Lovely, Lucrecia. All right, well, we're going to unmute the participants in the room and allow them a few seconds to gather their minds and potentially raise their hands, ask questions.
I hope I was not too fast, but I wanted to make you see different kind of things. So
definitely, no, that was a very comprehensive overview. Let's see. So we have Juan Camilo. You've raised your hand. Are you able to unmute?
Yes, I am. Hi, thank you. Hi,
Hi,
Lucrecia.
Juan.
Thank you so much for the demo. That was really interesting. I have a quick question just about the data
Yeah.
collection. You mentioned you collect the data with sensors. Do you also do any sort of like different collection apart from sensor data, or
Yeah.
is it
So
only sensors?
basically, we based our data collection on two things that are databases. They are almost public. You can see the sources. Am I still sharing? Yeah. So you can see the sources here by pressing on this part here. You see the sources that we use for collecting the data. So basically, all the KPIs are based on databases, but the part of the sensor are based on our sensor that we developed internally. So we use, let's say, the database data gathering for company prioritization, for example, while when we want to be more specific for a site, we use the sensor. So this is the only, let's say, difference. And yeah, I was also talking about Biodiversity, which is an app that is very interesting because it's not a sensor, but it's also very useful to see the observation, the remark here. So everything that you see in the dot here, these are observation made by users that use Biodiversity, which is an app, or iNaturalist, that is another app that I think you know. So yeah, to answer your question briefly, data collection based on databases, based on sensors, and based on Biodiversity and iNaturalist.
Can I ask a quick follow-up? Yeah, very quick. So the reason why you're using Biodiversity or iNaturalist, is it just to like complement the data that you already have, or is it a request from your clients?
No, it's to complement the data, to have observation on the field, which are of course more precise than what the databases or the satellites tells us.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Do we have anyone else that wants to raise their hand? Francisco?
Hello. Thank you for the presentation. I would just like to complement the question of Juan Camilo. Are the acoustic sensors only identifying species of insects, or identifying other animals, mammals, etc.?
Yeah, so we have one sensor which is called Spectrum, which is the one that I was showing you. That is the one focusing on pollinators. Then we developed another one which is called Birdie. So curious, that does basically the same but for birds, but it's more specific. So it analyzes the exact species of bird, whereas the insect is a cluster. And then we also have camera traps for small mammals. And we are working on one that analyzes the sound of bats. So this kind of species, let's say.
And just a follow-up question. And this is IP sensors and camera traps from your company, and how it works on the monitoring site in the field. Like you work with your own team doing the collection, or you work with partners?
Yeah. So if I understood correctly, we normally gave the sensor to the player, they install it, and then they have inside the sensors have a SIM, so a memory, and the memory directly connects to the platform, and we download the data from the platform. So we don't need to have strategies, natural strategies, our accounts on the field that we are monitoring. That's why this is very, let's say, useful also for working with players all around the world. We just send the sensor and that is it. Of course, if they need assistance, we are there to help them. But yeah, it's basically just a box that you install in the field and you let it work. They have a solar panel, so they don't need energy. They just use solar energy, and they're automatically connected to the platform by the code that you can see here.
Amazing, Lucrezia. Maybe we can attach some photos or images of that when we post about it as well. All right. Well, thank you so much for that presentation. Thank you for the questions, audience.